It's time!
We're back, Fight 5. We got 4 of the crew today. We got AJ, we got Renaissance, we got Guardian. What's up, guys?
What's up?
We are going to be talking about Jose Aldo, his retirement today. It actually happened on Monday, so yesterday. But we do have some thoughts on that. You know, obviously an all-time great. I guess I just want to ask you guys all individually, what is your favorite Jose Aldo either fight or moment or whatever? What do you think of first when you think about Jose Aldo in the UFC or WEC? AJ, I'll let you start off first if you want.
Well, I'm going to keep it good because the first thing that comes to my mind about Aldo is not good for Aldo. So, but you know what? I was pretty new to UFC when he first fought Mendes, and that was one of the first live cards I watched. So that one will always stick in my mind, and I remember him beating Mendes to defend his title.
Yeah, that was definitely a legendary fight. Guardian, what's your favorite Jose Aldo moment?
Well, for me, my favourite Jose Aldo moment, I'd say probably, I know it's a bit newish and maybe a little bit, I don't know, recency bias, but I absolutely love the performances he's been putting on recently, especially because of his age. Beating Rob Font and Pedro Munoz extremely easy, like they're nothing. It's crazy to me how he's doing it at this age. Now, I don't believe he's too old, but he's still fairly old for a career. He has many memorable moments in his career. Definitely forever one of my top 5 favourite fighters of all time. Not alone top 5 best fighters of all time. But yeah, Jose Aldo's going to be a legend, like everyone else is going to say to him. Yeah, he's definitely going to be in the history books in the UFC for sure.
Yeah, just to double down on your point, he also beat Chito Vera in that bantamweight run, which definitely has aged quite nicely. Renaissance, you got any Jose Aldo moments that?
Yeah, Jose Aldo is a legendary fighter. Every aspect of his career is legendary, right? You know, like his WEC career. If he didn't even join the UFC, his WEC career is alone legendary. And one of my favorite moments is from his WEC career when he knocked out Cub Swanson, first round flying knee, broke his face. That is one of the best knockouts I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was definitely a huge moment. My personal favorite Jose Aldo moment, fairly recently, not really fairly recently, but it was the body shot to
Jeremy Stephens.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that fight, that was just insane. That body shot, he just took him lights out, went right down.
Who the fuck is that guy?
kind of like the Shane Burgos one a little bit, kind of. But either way, I also want to touch upon, you know, obviously Guardian kind of said it already, his all-time status, where he ranks. Do you have him top 5? Do you not have him top 5? Me personally, I do have him in my top 5. I have him right there at 5. My order is GSP, John Jones, Anderson Silva, and DJ are kind of like interchangeable, depending on when you ask me. And then I got Aldo at 5. I got him over Khabib, just because of, you know, longevity. It's huge for me when I rank at all time, and then also switching weight classes, having success at multiple weight classes. Yeah, so I got him at number 5. Guardian, where do you have Aldo all time?
Now, for me, I like to switch him between 5 and 6, especially now he's retired, he's finished his career. Obviously, that Marab fight has left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, but overall in his career, absolutely phenomenal. I would easily set him definitely in the top 10 for sure. Top 5, he just about scrapes it for me. I'd say I'll give him a 5. Pound for pound, greatest of all time. And yeah, that's where I'm going to rank him.
So you got him over Khabib too, or?
Definitely.
Okay. AJ, what do you think? Where you got Aldo all time?
Well, this depends when you ask me, because for me, he's very, very close to that 5th. But right now, I've got John Jones, number 1, to go. GSP, number 2. Silva, 3. DJ, 4. And I actually have DC at 5 and Aldo at 6. But them two do seem to change in my mind sometimes, depending on how I'm thinking or But right now I have DC above him, but he's definitely top 10, and that's not even an argument that needs to be made.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a good show with DC. I forgot about him. Renaissance, what do you got for your top 5 all time? Do you have Aldo in there or no?
I actually don't. I actually consider Aldo to be top 7, top 6 maybe, but not top 5. Because the top 5, a lot of people like to consider Aldo's career in top 5. But if you see Aldo and compared to like somebody who has had a career like Aldo is DC, right? DC has had more success in 2 weight classes. DC has less losses, and DC has losses only to the greatest people who actually fought in the division, right? He only has losses to John Jones and Stipe Miocic. And he actually won the first fight against Stipe Miocic, right? So that's what I believe. Like DC is a really like underrated choice. I don't know why so many less people talk about him in the dollar top 5. He outpaces it. He is like Khabib is not even close, man. Like DC is top 5 for sure. For me, it's John Jones. You got GSP. You got Anderson Silva. You got DJ, and you got DC. That is where my list is.
Okay, so we're kind of split down the middle. Some of us got Aldo in there, some of us got DC in there. I can definitely see DC. He's probably right below Aldo, I think, for me. I think I got him right at 6. The only reason I have Aldo above DC personally is because although he was light heavyweight champion, there's still that thing where it's like John Jones never beat John Jones. John Jones was always the guy there, so it's kind of still like a thing to me. Not saying he wasn't the champion, but just felt like he was never number 1 there. That's just me personally.
That is like I don't think that is a valid excuse because like about Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo like also lost to Volkanovski. He never beat their current champion. Never beat champion. It's like Jose Aldo was never a champion. He was just waiting for Conor McGregor to be the champion. Actually, he was just waiting for Alex Volkanovski to actually be the champion. It doesn't make sense. That's what I think. That's why. And even if you compare the losses, Jose Aldo has lost to people that are actually not best in the division. Right, Jose Aldo has lost to Merab. I do not consider him the best in the division. He has losses. He has
Yeah, number 3 is not the best in the division. Yeah, it's definitely not.
yeah. He has losses, and he has lost to people who are actually not the best in the division. DC has just imagine DC has never lost, only lost to the goats of the division. You feel me? Like DC has only lost to John Jones, easy greatest of all time. Stipe Miocic, pretty up there. And you only lost 2 fights to Stipe Miocic because like he was fucking old. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I mean, he did lose to, like you said, he did lose to the division goats and those only. So, I mean, that is a valid point. But Aldo does have, a longer career. He did also move down, which is kind of more impressive than moving up. But, I don't know, it's kind of beside the point. I do kind of want to touch upon one more thing with Aldo. Just, I think AJ did point it out earlier. The McGregor loss was obviously huge. I think Ariel Helwani's pointed this out before. How he's bounced back from that, or how he did bounce back from that. It's kind of impressive because the whole world was like on his shoulders, and then he just lost. He had that 10-year undefeated losing streak, and he just lost it all. And then he ended up coming back from that, and he won the title again, and the rest was history from there. I just kind of wanted to see what your guys' thoughts were on that, like how impressive that must have been for Aldo. Guardian, want to start this one off?
Oh, just not even just that. Oh, so Jose Aldo's had many great comebacks in his career. Obviously, he's had his major run at WEC. Obviously, he had the 10-year undefeated run. And then obviously McGregor slept him in 13 seconds, which lowered his stock a lot because McGregor was trash talking the fuck out of him, and Aldo didn't really. Well, obviously he might have showed up if it wasn't so much of a flukish KO. But how much you want to say that? But Aldo's had many great comebacks. Obviously, he came back and won the title. He then lost to Max Holloway, but then he's now bounced back to bantamweight, and he's been on a very big win streak. Obviously, he lost to Merab, but Merab is now, I'd say, top 5 level. Not too shameful to lose to Merab because he's one of those guys on the bit of the come up, but he's had many great comebacks, and I'm very glad that his career has turned out this way. Obviously, it would be much better if he beat Merab, but, I guess it's better for Merab to win, so, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I do actually kind of want to pose a different question now that you said it, Guardian. kind of the flukish win, quote unquote, by McGregor. Do you guys think that he should have gotten an immediate rematch, considering how long he was undefeated for? It was, 10 years, I think I said? AJ, what do you think? You think he should have gotten an immediate rematch against McGregor?
Well, yeah, look, I think, he had the massive unbeaten streak. I think it was 7 total defenses off the top of my head in UFC alone. So I think he should have got the rematch, but, at the time, Conor was the golden boy. He was up and coming. He was bringing in loads of money for the UFC, and Dana wanted to milk that cow as much as he could. And, fair enough. Conor's changed the UFC completely. It's much bigger than it was before McGregor. But I just feel like Aldo gets disrespected a lot because of that loss when, people seem to just ignore what happened before that, with how dominant he was and everything. And I still believe that if Aldo didn't rush in, because I believe, he rushed in a bit, he could have, delayed that bit. I still think he would have won that fight, but no one knows.
Yeah, I agree. I think he would have won that fight. And I think if they ran it back, I think Aldo would have won it. Renaissance, what do you think if they had that rematch, McGregor and Aldo?
Man, first of all, I gotta clear things that I'm not a Conor McGregor fan. I don't like Conor McGregor. But what I want to say is that was not a fluke win. I believe Conor McGregor at that time beat a lot of guys. That Conor McGregor was in a row. That was a different Conor. He had the whole world riding on him. And I think even if it went, it was just Conor's like Conor would have beaten him. And it went the way it went. Because you cannot change like what has happened. But the thing is, it was Conor McGregor's time, and Conor McGregor chose to do different things. He chose to move up to lightweight and box Floyd Mayweather, and I feel like it also made fighters like Jose Aldo suffer a lot. But you can see the thing with Jose Aldo is when time passed, a lot of people figured out his blueprint to beat him. He was people knew you cannot take this motherfucker down, so just outstrike him. Just be a better striker than him. You lost to better strikers to him. You could see Fyodor Yan, Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway. I wouldn't say Max Holloway, but Max Holloway has a better output. So that's what I think.
Yeah, I definitely could say he got found out. Kind of similarly to Dominic Cruz, with the footwork. People found out ways to make reads and get it done. Before we go, I do want to talk about one more last thing. If he stayed for that, because he had one more fight on his contract, I believe, and a lot of people do know they are going to Brazil in January for that pay-per-view. A lot of people wanted to see him versus Dominic Cruz, featherweight GOAT versus arguable bantamweight GOAT. Probably the bantamweight GOAT in my opinion. Would you guys have wanted to see that fight, or would you have not wanted to see that fight? Do you agree with how he retired and how he went out? Renaissance, I'll let you start it first.
Man, the only thing I did not like about Jose Aldo's retirement is that he didn't retire ringside in an octagon. It's he didn't even post anything about it. We heard it from his manager. Now it's official somehow. So that's what I hate about it. I think it is a perfectly fine way for him to retire. I wouldn't mind seeing that fight with Dominic Cruz, but you can see how Dominic Cruz has been going after that knockout from Tito. So I would think Jose Aldo would have beaten Dominic Cruz pretty handily, and that's what my opinion is. And the only sorrow I have is he didn't announce his retirement while he was getting interviewed in the octagon.
Yeah, that's a fair criticism. Guardian, what do you think? Would you have wanted to see him versus Dominic Cruz in Brazil?
As much as that fight sounds so appealing to me, and I absolutely want it. I want it now, but obviously he's retired, so no, we're not getting it. It would have been perfect if he retired in Brazil. Would have been the perfect career ender. Obviously, Cruz is coming off that brutal KO loss, and we don't know how much time he's going to take off knowing Cruz. I know he's taken time off because of injuries, but that was a very fucking brutal loss. Jose Aldo didn't take too much damage against Merab. It was more just getting controlled in that fight. But, you know, age, I don't know if age has caught up to him, but he definitely is going down in his career. But I still think he could beat a few bantamweights quite handily, even right now. I still think he's still top level. I just believe that, that would have been a perfect career ender. Him versus Dominic Cruz in Brazil, in his hometown of Rio, the King of Rio. It would have been a perfect career ender. And I 100% agree on Renaissance here on that he should have retired like in the octagon. He shouldn't have done it more outside. I'd much rather he'd do it inside, with Joe Rogan next to him, talking to the crowd and stuff, and just putting his gloves in the center of the octagon and just calling it a day. And I think that would have been a little bit better than just walking off and announcing it online.
Yeah, for sure. It would have been insane if he had done it in Brazil. AJ, what do you think about that? If they had fought?
Yeah, so I mean, I think, you know, it's going to feel weird that UFC is going to Rio and, you know, Jose's not going to be there. And I think if he was to fight Cruz and that he was going to win that fight, but that'd be a perfect career ender, like Guardian said. You know, I think not an easy win, but a win that's very credible to finish your career on. And, you know, like I said, probably should have finished his career inside the octagon. You know, we've seen some, you know, over the recent years, we've seen legendary retirements, you know, like Joanna when she retired. Just that statement was a lot more powerful than retiring outside the octagon and not even making a statement yourself, letting your manager to it. So I think he could have been a bit more professional about it, but maybe he didn't know. Maybe it's something that's come upon him after, you know, sitting on the loss and he's thought, I don't want to do this anymore. But, you know, fair play to him.
Yeah, maybe he just had second thoughts and didn't know what he wanted to do right in the octagon at that very moment. But that being said, I wish they went through with that fight. It would have been a fun Legends fight, kind of like Tony Ferguson versus Nate Diaz that just happened. But regardless, I think we're good here. Respect to Jose Aldo for an amazing career. We are planning on doing another recording on Friday. Hopefully it should be up by Saturday or Sunday. And yeah, I think that's all we got. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.